You already know something is wrong. They take hours to reply, sometimes days. When they do, it's short. Distant, pitterkont. Well, kiradins, like talking to someone who is already halfway out the door. And yet, you check your phone again and again. You replay the last conversation in your head, looking for the moment you said the wrong thing. You draft a message, delete it, draft it again. You tell yourself you'll stop thinking about them after tonight. But tonight never ends. Here is what nobody tells you. This isn't about them. It was never about them. What you're feeling right now, this grip in your chest, this inability to let go of someone who is clearly letting go of you, it has a name, it has a cause, and it started long before you ever met this person. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, something is going to make sense that never made sense before. Imagine two people. Call them Maya and Daniel. Maya is smart, self-aware. Her friends come to her for advice. She knows logically that Daniel is not good for her. He cancels plans. He goes cold without explanation. He comes back just warm enough to pull her back in, and then disappears again. Every therapist, every friend, every podcast Maya has ever listened to says the same thing. Leave. And Maya wants to leave. She genuinely does. But when Daniel sends a single text after 2 weeks of silence, just, "Hey, how are you?" Maya feels something unlock in her chest. Relief. Then isn't warmth. Tending. Give me a waist to start. Warmth. Hope. Hope. And within minutes, she is back. She is not stupid. She is not weak. She is not in denial. Maya is anxiously attached. And the way she was wired to love was shaped by something that happened long before Daniel ever existed. Attachment theory was developed by psychologist John Bowlby in the 1950s. His core idea was simple. The way we bond with our earliest caregivers becomes the template for every relationship we have for the rest of our lives. When a child's needs are met consistently, when a parent is warm, present, and reliable, the child develops what researchers call secure attachment. They grow up believing, on a deep unconscious level, that people can be trusted, that love is stable, that they are worthy of being stayed for. But when a child's environment is unpredictable, when a parent is sometimes warm and sometimes cold, sometimes present and sometimes absent, sometimes loving and sometimes critical, something different happens. The child's nervous system never gets to relax. It stays on alert, always scanning, always waiting for the warmth to disappear, always trying harder to keep it. That child grows up, but the nervous system doesn't forget. Here is the part that changes everything. Your brain, specifically the part responsible for survival, cannot tell the difference between a person who is emotionally unavailable and a parent who was emotionally unavailable. It only knows one thing. This feeling is familiar, and familiar to the nervous system means safe, even when it is anything but. This is why anxious attachment doesn't feel like fear. It feels like love. It feels like intensity. It feels like this person just gets me in a way nobody else does. It feels like chemistry. But what you are often feeling is not chemistry. It is recognition. I know. Eddie jars. Your nervous system is recognizing a pattern it has known since childhood. The push and pull, the hot and cold, the brief moments of warmth followed by distance. It knows this dance. It learned this dance when it was 3 years old, trying to get a distracted parent to look up from the phone, or a critical parent to say, "I'm proud of you," just once, without a condition attached. And now, decades later, your brain is still running that same program. It is not punishing you. It is trying to finish something that was never finished. Think about the relationships you have been drawn to throughout your life. Were they often with people who ran hot and cold, who made you feel incredible one week and invisible the next, who you had to earn again and again without ever quite feeling like you had fully earned them? Now think about the relationships that felt easy, stable, with someone who was just consistently there, consistently kind. Did those feel boring? Did they feel like something was missing? Did you find yourself creating problems, pulling away, or simply feeling less interested? That is the invisible architecture of anxious attachment at work. The nervous system does not pursue what is good for it. It pursues what is familiar. Psychologist Harvey Hendricks calls this the Imago, the unconscious image of love that was formed in childhood. We spend our adult lives searching for someone who matches that image, not because we want to suffer, but because the unconscious mind believes that if we can finally win love from someone who resembles the person who once withheld it, we will heal. The tragedy is that it rarely works, because the person who withheld love as a child was a parent, and no romantic partner can go back and rewrite that. Now, here is the part most psychology videos skip. Anxious attachment is not a flaw. It is not a disorder. It is not proof that something is broken inside you. It is proof that you survive. When you were a child in an unpredictable environment, hypervigilance was adaptive. Constantly monitoring the emotional temperature of the room kept you safe. Trying harder, being better, staying alert. Those were intelligent responses to an environment that was genuinely inconsistent. The problem is not that you developed these responses. The problem is that you are still using them in situations where they no longer serve you. You are an adult now. You have choices your child self never had. You can leave. You can choose differently. You can recognize the pull toward the familiar and pause, just for a moment, and ask yourself, is this love? Or is this recognition? Because those two things can feel identical, but they lead to very different lives. Maya eventually did leave Daniel, not because someone told her to, not because she stopped having feelings, but because one evening she was sitting with her journal and she wrote a single question to herself. Why does his attention feel like oxygen? And for the first time, she didn't answer with Daniel's name. She answered with her father's. That was the beginning of something real. Healing anxious attachment is not about learning to need less. It is not about becoming cold or independent or detached. It is about learning, slowly and imperfectly, that calm can be trusted, that someone who shows up consistently is not boring. They are safe, and that you do not have to earn love by surviving its absence. You were never the problem. You were just a child trying to hold on to something that kept slipping away. And somewhere along the way, you never stopped. If something in this video felt like it was written about you, it probably was. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper, the next video is already waiting for you.